Well, Charlie Kirk's passing leaves not only a loving family and friends behind, but a major influence in the conservative political space. It's open now. We bring in the chairman at the College Republicans of America, William Donahue. William, thank you so much for joining us today. No question, we've been reporting on it all evening. Charlie Kirk was just a force in politics, especially with the youth movement in America, the College Republicans, just the youth in general. It does leave an open space. So who is there to take up the mantle now, and how does the movement continue?
Charlie Kirk left a lasting impact on everyone in the youth movement. When College Republicans collapsed a few years ago and there was a space in our realm to grow, I set aside some time to think about how we were going to grow this movement. And it was very obvious to me that Charlie Kirk had paved the way for all of us. And so I modeled the College Republicans of America after Turning Point. Everything that Charlie succeeded on, we mimicked. And we were very successful as a result. One of the first things we did when we started College Republicans of America is we went to Tyler Boyer and Charlie and we said, we want to partner with you. And so we've been partnered with Turning Point Action since day one. There is nobody that can fill the void that we'll be left with Charlie. It's going to be on all of us to step up and pick up the mantle and do our best to continue to grow the youth minds of tomorrow and remember his legacy and honor it.
William, it's obviously a loss for College Republicans. It's a loss for the conservative movement. But when you lose a voice as powerful as Charlie's and as civil as Charlie's, it's a loss for the country as well. And I think people need to understand that silencing any voice that speaks with civility and intellect is a loss for the country. And I wonder if you could speak to that a little bit about what he meant as a political figure, not as a conservative figure, but just as a figure in politics for all of us to look up to.
A few decades ago, our congressman would look across the aisle and say, my well-meaning colleague on the other side. We've lost that in politics. And as a result, the fabric of our country is slowly being torn apart. The left and right have become bimodal on the political axis. And Charlie did something really unique. He went to the college campuses and engaged with the young minds, trying to breed a diversity of thought, a diversity of political opinion. He asked hard questions to the students and in turn created a movement that created one of the greatest comebacks for President Trump in presidential election history. We have not won the youth male vote since President Ronald Reagan. It has been 50 years since we have won Gen Z males. Charlie has a lasting impact on the entire country, not just because he was the leader of a youth movement. He engaged with the young minds of this country in a way that I admire a lot and have tried to emulate and do in my own respect within the party infrastructure. We need to be able to come together in this moment as a country and find ways to not breed more violence.
So how do you keep his legacy alive, and how do you keep the movement that he started moving forward?
These are the questions that we're going to be talking to our team about in the coming days. They're the conversations that I want to have with Tyler Boyer and Turning Point Action and the entirety of the youth movement. I don't really want to talk about the vacuum that Charlie's left so soon after his passing. We need to take some time to mourn. We need to take some time to pray, to reflect, to give love to his family. And in the coming days, we're going to figure out a plan. We're going to come together as a united force. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. The Republican Party is very large. We need to come together as a movement. And we need to show the left that their tactic of fear isn't going to strike into our hearts. We need to be able to fight back in a reasonable way. We are Republicans. President Trump needs to find ways to use the government to ensure that this doesn't continue, that those that are responsible for breeding chaos in our country are held accountable. And those of us that are in positions to influence the youth in our country need to step up and do more than we've already been doing. We need donors to help us. We need the people to help us. We need the party to help us. But most importantly, we need to come together and fight together as a unit right now. We can't continue to breed. Go, please.
And giving his family time to mourn, that is such a good point. And, you know, it sometimes gets lost in all of this as we cover this story. But you are so right there. The family does need respect and time to mourn, indeed.
And William, we can feel your pain, and I'm sure all of our viewers can feel it on this early Thursday morning after the terrible events of Wednesday. We thank you for being with us, William. We really do, and we share in your pain this morning. Thank you, William Donahue. All right.
Hi.